Feigned Rivalries, Episode 3, Battle of the BRIANS. Brian Orser from Canada, Brian Boitano from America. This is the Epic Showdown.
Epic Showdown.
Are rivalries really true, or are they imagined? Find out today on Battle
of the BRIANS.
Do rivalries really exist? Are they real or imagined? Keep watching to find out. Let's find out together. As the old saying goes, a humble beginning doth a champion make. Brian Orser was born in Bellevue, Ontario, and was the youngest of 5 children. He grew up in a beautiful, quaint town of Penetanguishene and learned to skate from a young age, winning his first novice-level title, Nationals, in 1977. He also went on to Junior Worlds and placed 4th behind, you guessed it, Boitano. Brian Boitano, on the other hand, is a California Bay Area boy. He was born in 1963 in Mountain View, California, south of San Francisco. He was a pirate at Marion A. Peterson High School in Sunnyvale, California, and as an adult, he's lived in San Francisco. Brian Boitano began skating as a child and won a gold medal at the Junior U.S. Championships in 1978, solidifying his entry into the U.S. Figure Skating Hall of Fame. Which Brian do you think is going to prevail? Well, let's review the head-to-head matchup, shall we? 1982 Skate Canada, Orser, silver. 1982 Skate Canada, Boitano, gold. Wow. 1983 Worlds, Orser, 3rd. 1983 Worlds, Boitano, 7th. Uh-oh, Boitano. What's going on, boy? 1983 Skate Canada, Orser, gold. 1983 Skate America, Boitano, gold, both winning their Grand Prix events. 1984 Worlds, Orser, silver. 1984 Worlds, Boitano, 6th place. 1984 Olympics, Orser, silver. 1984 Olympics, Boitano, 5th. Orser just couldn't do enough to beat Scott Hamilton. However, look how well he's doing here against Boitano. 1984 NHK Trophy, Orser, silver. 1984 NHK Trophy, Boitano, bronze. 1985 Worlds, Orser, silver. 1985 Worlds, Boitano, bronze. You can't do it, Boitano, can you? 1985 NHK Trophy, Orser, silver. 1985 NHK Trophy, Boitano, gold. The turning point. 1986 Worlds, Orser, silver. 1986 Worlds, Boitano, gold. 1987 Worlds, Orser, gold. 1987 Worlds, Boitano, silver. 1987 Skate Canada, Orser, gold. 1987 Skate Canada, Boitano, silver. 1988 Worlds, Orser, silver. 1988 Worlds, Boitano, gold. Battle of the BRIANS is in full force by the time we get to the 1988 Olympics in Canada. The 1988 Olympic champion was
Brian Boitano.
Boitano did it. He put the pedal to the metal and came out victorious. And he just looks very relieved. Let's watch a little bit.
So hard to just take one thing at a time and really not get excited about each thing that I landed. I could have gotten excited about that first jump because I was nervous, but I knew I had to do everything and keep total control of the program, so that's why I didn't break until the end.
Brian, what were your experiences like at the Olympics in 1984 and 1988?
4 was a difficult year for me. It was a year of a lot of changes. I was sort of stuck behind Scott Hamilton in the U.S. Nationals, and I felt like if, there were rumors that he was going to stay in, and that's part of the reason that I was thinking in '84 Olympics, like, what am I going to stay in for? And Scott's going to stay ahead of me, and he's going to be ahead of me, and and there's no hope for anyone ranked number 2 in their country. I mean, you just can't get on the podium. There's no way. So 84 was a really tough year. I think I went through a lot of body changes, and consequently in 85 they were positive changes. As soon as I knew that Scott was going to retire, I felt like, okay, this is a chance for me. I can really pull ahead, and if I'm number 1 for my country, maybe I really do have a chance to be on the podium. And 85 was a really good year. It was a turning point for me. I started doing triple axels really consistently in competition, and very few guys were really doing them then. It was just the top of the pack. You had to do it, when you were in the top of the pack. And I was doing a lot of other technical things that other guys weren't doing. So I thought if I kept that ball rolling, then by 88, if I was doing much more than everybody else, then I would really have a solid chance.
What were your thoughts? Did you think you had it?
Yeah, actually, at that moment when I hit my last pose in the program, I felt that I did have the gold medal. And because I had skated relatively cleanly, and I felt really good about it. With considering all the pressure and the whole situation, I really felt good about it.
Yeah, when you came in earlier this evening, I said, what's tougher, facing the cameras and all the interviews today, or what you did last night?
I think it's the day after that's the hardest part, and reflecting back on the night before, and having very little sleep, and spending the whole day with media and press, and so that they can do their story properly, and also spend some time with some sponsors and people like that.
Brian, as you look back on last night's program, where do you think you could have improved? What could you have done better, or what would you have done differently as you look back on it?
Well, hindsight is 20/20.
Absolutely.
And there was one jump that I had a slip, and I stepped out of very quickly. And I think that's really what cost me the 1/10 of a mark that I was missing in the technical merit from one judge. That cost me the gold medal. So it was very, very close, and that's what made it so hard afterwards, was that it was so close. It was just 0.1 from one judge.
Orser is so gracious here, really showing us Canadian nice. And he's so in tune with why he thinks he lost the gold medal at the 1988 Olympics. More on this to come. It'll prove very useful in his further career. So the final stats: Orser was a 2-time Olympic silver medalist, 1984 and 88, while Boitano was a 1-time Olympic medalist, but he was the 88 champion. Orser was an 8-time Canadian national champion. Boitano was a 4-time U.S. champion. Orser was a 4-time world silver medalist, 1-time bronze medalist, whereas Boitano was a 2-time world champion, 1-time silver and 1-time bronze medalist. Wow, the stats for both these men ain't too shabby, are they? Is the bigger picture becoming clearer now? Both skaters won many competitions, and they were rivals through the junior ranks all the way to seniors for at least a decade. It was truly something to behold. But what were both skaters known for? Both were technicians. Both were jumping triple axels, which at the time gave them a huge advantage over other male skaters when it wasn't so common to do so. During this time frame, there were 3 different performances. You would have the compulsory program, the short program, and the long program. During the compulsory exercises, you had to perform different moves on the ice that were judged uniformly with the other skaters. Orser displayed beautiful lines, strong jumps, and an inherent artistry. You can see here he just really skates with passion, fire, and look at that huge triple axel double toe. He was just a gorgeous skater who knew exactly what to do on the ice and across the ice, and included the whole audience with him in his program, here doing a military-style program, just like Brian Boitano did. Watch his beautiful spins here, beautiful lines and extension. Really engaging with the crowd, selling the program, focusing on his artistry. The scoring at this time was out of a 6.0. You'd have your technical merit and your artistic merit, and the judges would score you out of 6.0, and then they would rank the skaters. The segments were also weighted, and then a winner would be announced. In some ways, the scoring was a little bit less convoluted than it is today, but in other ways, it perhaps wasn't quite as fair either. Watch this cool move. Brian Boitano talks about how in 1984, Scott Hamilton was really the top U.S. man, so it was hard for him to make waves. The turning point really came in 1985 and 86, when he started winning some of the matchups against Orser. Boitano was known for his technical flair, having a great jump technique and also focusing on triple axels. Boitano even tried a quadruple jump at the 1988 World Championships. Boitano says he landed it, however, the judges weren't quite so sure. Kurt Browning from Canada ended up being the one to get the first ratified quadruple men's jump. Boitano skated to the silent movie Napoleon soundtrack during the 1987-88 season. His was also a military-style program, so you have Orser's red costume versus Brian's blue costume. Orser's red Canadian flag versus Brian's red, white, and blue American flag. Look here at his very strong skating skills. Getting nice height into his jumps, nice and big. Little mistake there, but still passing it off very well. But you can really tell that Boitano, he had to work on some of the performative aspects of his performances. And he really focused on that and everything he needed to do to maximize his scoring in between that season, when Brian Orser had beat him at previous competitions. Brian Boitano had the lust for gold. Fast he is coming out of the jumps, getting right into a camel spin, holding that position really nicely. You can see here back both Orser and Boitano called it quits after the 1988 Olympics. Boitano would eventually return to the 1994 Olympics when the rule was changed, called the Boitano rule, allowing skaters who had turned professional to come back as amateurs. Boitano competed professionally for many years, winning many competitions and then also skating show programs. Brian Orser skated with Stars on Ice for 20 years, beginning in 1988. He eventually quit in 2007 doing show programs and went on to coaching. Brian Orser could do a backflip, but he once injured his wrist breaking it and deciding he would never do a backflip on ice again.
You just keep looking for your hat. This is mine. This is my toque. Oh. And you're looking for a chapeau.
Which Brian will be remembered forever for being featured in a South Park song?
I guess that could work. We have to try. What would Brian Boitano do if he was here right now? He'd make a plan and he'd follow through. That's what Brian Boitano do. When Brian Boitano was in the Olympics skating for the gold, he did 2 sow cows and a triple lutz while wearing a blindfold. When Brian Boitano was in the Alps fighting grizzly bears, he used his magical fire breath and saved the maidens there. So what would Brian Boitano do if he were here today? I'm sure he'd kick an ass or two. That's what Brian Boitano do. Brian Boitano do, and we'll sing turns and fill them too, 'cause that's what Brian Boitano do, 'cause that's what Brian Boitano do.
You've gotta love a skater who doesn't take himself so seriously and gets in on the joke. That's what Brian Boitano would do. Perhaps most impressively, Brian Orser went on to coach a whole host of champions, perhaps most famously Yuna Kim to her 2010 Olympic gold medal and Yuzuru Hanyu to his multiple gold medals. He's also been the coach of Jason Brown, Javier Fernandez, Evgenia Medvedeva, Rika Kahira, and more. He's really excelled as a coach alongside Tracy Wilson at the Toronto Cricket Club.
I like mustaches and muscles, I like to touch.
Both Bryans are members of the LGBTQ+ community. Orser had to come out in 1998 when his former partner sued him for palimony. Then, since 2008, he got married with Rajesh Tiwari, who's the head of the Brian Orser Foundation. Boitano had never planned to come out, but when he was named a delegate to the 2014 Sochi Olympics, and seeing as Russia had passed anti-LGBTQ laws the year prior to the Olympics, Boitano proudly came out announcing he was gay. It does appear that he's in a loving relationship now, too. So what do you think? Are rivalries really true, or are they imagined? Can rivalries be used for good, or are they always bad? The Bryans ended up getting coffee together after the 1988 Olympics to talk everything through, and they performed in numerous shows together after that as well. Did they really hate each other? Or did they just use each other to fuel their desire to win that Olympic gold? One will never truly know, but on the outside, it does look like these rivals, at least, are on friendly terms. Thank you so much for watching. Over and out, this is Kelly Commentates.